Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with another layout for the Paige Evans design team. And for this layout, I decided to start with a cut file. I could not come up with an idea. And so whenever I get stuck with, nothing in my head to begin with, I always go for a cut file. And I hadn't used this one yet. It's called the Geometric Flower Background that Paige Evans designed, and you could get that in the Silhouette store. And I just decided to kind of jump right in and go for it. So I'm going to use white cardstock as my background, and I'm going to do some mixed media on it first. And so I'm using white gesso just to cover a lot of the paper with, so it will be protected and ready to go when I start to add liquid. And I want the cut file sort of crooked on the upper left side of the paper like that. And so I'm going to use it to create a background. Well, I'm going to create the background and then use the cut file on top of it. I almost wanted to use the cut file as a stencil, but I didn't. So I pulled out some Shimmers colors from my stash that coordinate with the Pick Me Up collection, and I'm combining some pinks here. I'm using Sweetheart and Razzle Dazzle Berry, and I'm just using the packaging technique. I want a bunch of color on the background, and then I'm going to lay the cut file over it. And so you're going to be able to see all this really pretty, messy, splotchy color underneath the cut file. So I'm going to use some pinks, some golds. This is a gold color called Glorious Day. And then I'm going to come in with some blues, because I'm sure by now you've seen the Pick Me Up collection. Most of you have probably used it. It has a lot of deep, rich colors in it. And so that is sort of the color scheme that I'm going to go with here. This is a blue color called Mama Sings the Blues. And I added a little bit of a darker blue to it called Chance of Rain, because there are a lot of dark blues in the collection. And I'm trying to not overlap the colors too much. I didn't want to create any muddy or dark colors. I wanted them to be separate. So I just kind of randomly put the paint down, and now I'm going to add some splatters. I'm just using the nozzle there. I get asked a lot about splatters, and if you're new to creating backgrounds like this, I just use the nozzle. I just make sure that the liquid is mixed up, and then I pull it out and splatter it down. You could do a paintbrush if you wanted to, but the nozzles are pretty easy because they're right there. I'm just going to use my paper towel roll to kind of dab everything up, and then continue to add some splatters and some color there. And I really like these colors together. I think they're really pretty, very rich colors, and I think the papers that I'm going to use are really going to showcase that. So now you can kind of see the look that I was going for. I haven't chosen my photo yet. Lately that's been my story. I just kind of create the background first and then see what I've got, and then go and choose my pictures. So yeah, you could add splatters if you want. You could leave the splatters out. It just depends on what you want to do. Now I want to fill in some of these geometric flowers. I only want to fill in the middle. I didn't want to cover up that background. So I pulled out what I had left of a paper from Pick Me Up. It's paper number 2, and it's the one with all those beautiful flowers on it. And I'm just going to go through and pick out pieces from that paper to use as backing behind each of the flowers, just the middle part. So you're still going to be able to see a lot of the background, but I wanted to pull in some of that deep purple pink color, and I almost didn't want to add in that corally orange reddish color, but I'm going to wind up doing that. And then I'm going to use some lighter pinks and some of that golden yellow color. Or actually the yellow in this paper is more of a mustard yellow, but I think it all comes together really nicely. And some of the circles or some of the flowers are going to run off the page, so I don't fill up every single one of them, but yeah, you can kind of see how that looks. I just backed them all, and so I've got a variety of colors. I've got some of the dark blue, and in the meantime I did choose my photos. These are some from a few years ago. Again, I know I scrap these kind of pictures all the time, but they're my favorite ones to scrap. They're just fun phone selfies of me and Paige, and this is back when she, gosh, this is a couple years ago, she was definitely shorter and chunkier. You can see her little cheeks were a lot chubbier than she is now. And I'm going to pull out some pieces from paper number 1 from Pick Me Up. That's the cut apart sheet right there. And use several pieces from this. I'm going to use some of these 3x4 cut apart pieces to use as layers behind the photo strip. And I just printed those 3 photos out kind of small on a 4x6 piece of photo paper. So, and I'm not going to cut those apart. I'm going to use this piece. What paper number was that? I think that was paper number 24 or 16. I wrote it down, but I can't remember which one is which. But it's from the Pick Me Up collection. And this is a good way to use up scraps. I never throw away, if I have a piece of paper that is big enough to punch something out of or to tear the edge off to use as a layer, I'm going to keep it because it's perfect for things like this. You don't really need a lot of paper to create small layers behind your picture like this. So now I've got most of those colors represented. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive foam behind the picture. And then I'm going to just glue down the middle of all of those circles just to make sure that the cut file stays there. And so now I've got this really fun background to work with. And I know I want to pull in some tangled thread, and I've got all those deep, rich colors. I've got the dark blue, the dark purplish pink color, and then the coral, orangey, reddish coral color. And then my main focus there's so many embellishments. I know you guys know this. When you buy collections, there are just so many things to choose from. So I feel like if you limit your selection, then it's going to help you work on your layout a little bit quicker. And so I decided to only use the chipboard stickers and the regular stickers. I didn't use any die cuts or anything like that. So I just tried to limit what I could use. So I'm going to use quite a bit of the sticker sheet and the chipboard. And so right now I'm adding in some chipboard pieces. I'm going to use a flower cluster, the little pink phrase that I just stuck on the bottom of the pictures, the light blue one that says laugh at the top, and then these are the stickers, just the regular cardstock type stickers. And I'm going to use quite a bit of those also. I just tried to pick things that matched and that I had not used yet. And so I thought, you know what, I haven't used these little framed pieces, and I'm just going to kind of go crazy with the embellishments here. I usually tend to go crazy with my background, but I wanted to use a lot of product on this, and so that's what I'm going to do. And it all comes from the sticker sheet and the chipboard. I do layer in a couple of flowers at the top and the bottom, or not actual flowers, but flower stickers, a little cluster of flowers. And then that is some coral colored, deep coral thread up at the top there. And the background really has nothing to do with the pictures. I just liked that die cut, and I wanted to make an interesting background. And so your backgrounds don't have to make sense if you like creating mixed media things. And part of the beauty, I think, of mixed media scrapbooking is, it does not have to match your picture. Like I love the pictures, but I didn't necessarily have to use hearts to convey that, if that makes any sense. I just like interesting shapes and pretty colors and just making it look interesting. And so that's kind of the thought behind this. So I pulled out 3 of the stickers that are framed. And I'm going to use those on the right. And then that little dark blue Hello Sweetness piece, I fussy cut that from the cut apart paper number 1. I'm going to use that as an embellishment. You can find lots of embellishments on the pattern papers themselves if you just take the time to fussy cut them out. And sometimes you just make your own die cuts that way. So here are more stickers. I thought I would use the little coral brushstroke piece that says favorite. And I just thought I would make an easy, simple title. It's going to be favorite moment. And I put down that wonderful sticker, but I wind up taking it up. It got to be too busy down there, and I didn't want to overdo it. So I wind up taking the wonderful sticker away. And then I used the dark blue mini thickers from Pick Me Up to create the word moment. And so it's just going to be favorite moment because, you know, it wasn't a big event. It was just, hey, my kid's laughing and smiling and cuddling with me. Let's take some pictures. And I love those kind of pictures. I love everyday moments. I'm going to fussy cut this little flower cluster out. That was also from paper number 1. And I'm going to tuck it right underneath there, underneath the Hello Sweetness, just for an added pop of color. And then I'm going to trim off all the excess flowers. And then glue down the little parts that are sticking up. I almost left it like this, but then I thought the bottom needed a little something without being too busy because I've got a lot of embellishments going on. So what I'm going to do is create a little interest down at the bottom. But of course, I'm going to add more stickers and die cuts, or not die cuts, chipboard stickers, some hearts. There are a lot of tiny little hearts on the die cut. Why do I keep saying die cut? On the chipboard sticker sheet. So I'm going to use in some of those and add some dark pink thread over to the left. Whenever you need a pop of color of something and you don't have a sticker or anything to use in that color, thread is great because it just takes 2 seconds to stick it there and you instantly get texture and you get color. I guess I do my bottom at the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and add my journaling here first. I use my T-square ruler to make sure my lines are straight because I always write uphill or downhill. Yay for gold color shine. I had to add that in because I do have some pops of shiny gold on some of those stickers. So, okay, yeah, here's where I'm going to add a little bit of something to the bottom. I'm just going to cut a little piece out and then ruffle it up with my edge distresser and then come in with this beautiful striped paper just to add some of the pops of color that I have going on in the layout. And again, that's from Pick Me Up. I can't remember which paper is which. It's either 24 or 16. Don't have it in front of me at the moment. And I thought, well, what could I add there to add interest, but not a lot of busyness? And I thought, oh, I'll use one of the excess pieces that I cut off on the edge of the flowers. And so I'm just going to stick that down there, and it's going to add something to the layout without being too busy. And then I thought about making a full-on cluster, but then I just left it alone. And then instead of stamping my date, I realized that I hadn't used any of these stickers on the sticker sheet. And so I'm going to use those to create the date. Yeah, this is from 2014. Oh man, almost 4 years ago. Wow. But anyway, that's the final layout. I love how it turned out. It's totally random, but I love the colors and I love all of the embellishments I used. And I feel like the bottom just kind of added a little pop of something without being too busy or taking away from the rest of the layout. So I love all those rich colors, and it's fun to layer stickers and embellishments. And if you're struggling to come up with a starting point, you know, limit what you're going to use. Just pull out, you know, 2 things from the collection like I did here, just chipboard and stickers only, and make it work. And so I hope that gives you some inspiration and some ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.